The Flower of Happiness, Plato, Socrates, and the Birth of a Legacy. Athens, the OG of civilization, always manages to pull off something huge. Just as the jovial old man Socrates was hitting his peak fame on the streets, it seems fate decided he needed a heavy-hitter successor to carry the torch. So, in 427 BC, a newborn whose name would resonate through millennia, Plato, was airdropped into Athens. Mr. Plato's life script was the absolute premium package. Born into a super-elite Athenian noble family, he arrived with a silver spoon and the best private tutors money could buy. This kid wasn't just rich and well-connected, he was an overclocked CPU model, quick-witted, articulate, and lightning-fast in thought. The people of Athens were so hyped, they crowned him Son of Apollo. Even more annoyingly, Plato was good-looking too, with a broad head and dignified appearance, looking suspiciously like those Greek statues of Apollo. He was, quite simply, the ultimate handsome, rich, high-status celebrity of the philosophical world. This noble young man didn't just lounge around. Around age 18, he put down his pen, signed up for the army, and participated in a few small-scale skirmishes. He even traveled to the famously hardcore city-state of Sparta. Sparta's barrack-style management and its every man a soldier vibe must have profoundly shaken the young Athenian. It explains why, when he later wrote The Republic, the book carried some distinct boot camp DNA. Plato was always searching for the most high-level intellectual mentor. Finally, around age 20, 407 BC, he met the street philosopher he was destined for, Socrates. From that moment, the eyes of the young, rich aristocrat were completely opened. Socrates literally grabbed him and pulled him onto the express train to the Human Civilization Hall of Fame. Legend has it that after one of Socrates' talks, Plato approached him and, in his sophisticated noble voice, asked him the ultimate philosophical question. "Master, what is happiness, and how do I get my hands on it?" Socrates, ever the performance artist, didn't answer directly. Instead, he took Plato to a field full of blooming flowers and threw him a philosophical minigame. "Go in and pick the most beautiful flower you can find for me. The rules are one chance only, and you cannot walk backward." The young Plato entered the field, surely agonizing over the beauty pageant in his mind. After a while, he returned with a flower that was, well, looking pretty decent. Socrates asked skeptically, "Young man, are you absolutely certain this is the most beautiful flower you could find?" Plato's answer was surprisingly profound. "Once I walked in, I saw countless beautiful flowers. But once I chose this one, I told myself, although there might be more beautiful ones ahead, I can't turn back and I can't regret this. I believe that what I have in my hand now is the most beautiful one I will find. So I decisively returned." Socrates smiled, patted his shoulder, and announced, "Young man, that is happiness. You have already found it. For only what you possess is truly beautiful and truly happiness." The story essentially tells us that happiness is the self-assurance to know when enough is enough, and the refusal to keep looking. Socrates was extremely pleased with his five-star disciple, believing Plato was full of spirit and reason, in some ways his own premium clone. So, Socrates formally admitted Plato into his civilization creator elite training camp. With this, 2 members of the revered Greek triumvirate had successfully assembled. Plato piggybacked on his teacher's wisdom for a full 8 years, until 399 BC. By then, the 28-year-old Plato was in his prime. Then, unexpectedly, his teacher got into trouble. The rulers of the Athenian city-state decided to cancel Socrates and drag him before the court. Plato witnessed the entire trial firsthand. He was utterly disappointed and outraged by his teacher's arrest, trial, and eventual death sentence. He was furious because the court wasn't basing the verdict on undeniable criminal acts, but rather on the content of Socrates' stand-up routine, his speech. Using a democratic hand vote, they condemned the 70-year-old man to death. Plato thought, is this a court trial? This is clearly punishing speech backed by democracy. What a monumental irony! This single event caused him to profoundly doubt the democratic model that Athens so proudly championed. This case leads to an enduring reflection. Whether individuals can possess free thought and expression, especially when it clashes with social norms, seems to be a timeless test of a civilized society. In ancient Chinese culture, there was the saying, "One word can build a nation, one word can ruin a nation," leading to the cruel system of the literary inquisition. Similarly, in ancient Greece, we saw the speech prison through the trial of Socrates. It seems human players living on opposite ends of the earth often walk similar paths of civilization. As the Bible says, there is nothing new under the sun. Incidentally, 2,000 years after Socrates' death, the Italian missionary Giordano Bruno was burned alive for promoting the idea of heliocentrism. It seems the powerful never truly fear the thought of action, but rather the action of thought. With his teacher dead, Plato was heartbroken and completely disillusioned with Athens. He immediately decided to go on a philosophical therapy trip, leaving Athens to travel to surrounding city-states and countries to conduct a field study on whether other people's social management models were any more reliable. When he finally returned to Athens many years later, Plato had completed his philosopher upgrade and become a recognized scholar throughout Greece. He established an intellectual thought incubation center, the Academy, and began accepting students. This school later achieved universal fame through Raphael's Renaissance painting, The School of Athens. Although the scene in the painting is not the Academy's true original appearance, Raphael used the name as an opportunity for a dream crossover, listing the ancient Greek masters of civilization within the artwork. Facing that painting, one can only sigh. Countless people have come and gone on this planet, leaving behind nothing but consumed resources and descendants. But those who truly carve out the light of civilization, explore the mysteries of nature, and leave a lasting trace will always be an extreme minority. Who exactly are these people, and how do they do it? Perhaps the answer lies in Plato's quote about happiness. They simply grasped the truth they could hold and refused to turn back or regret it.